AI stocks will make you rich. This isn't financial advice, but if you look at the run-ups in NVIDIA, and if you look in the run-ups in the data center stocks, there's one data center stock that is not run up yet. The ticker is GLXY, Galaxy Digital. They donated $1 million to the Trump inauguration this year. And the founder, CEO, is a former partner at Goldman Sachs. They only have like a few dozen partners. This company, Galaxy Digital, is leasing one of their data centers to a company that NVIDIA invested in. I think this company has a lot of room for growth. Let's jump into the chart, a little info about the business. This is Galaxy Digital.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
Okay, so this is the donation from Accountable US of $1 million to the second Trump inauguration event. So could that be not quite what actually happened? You know, this is an entity, Galaxy Digital Services LLC. Sounds pretty similar to this public company, Galaxy Digital. So yeah, that's the connection. And, you know, never say never as to whether or not there's a connection between Trump and this company. I think there is a lot, just in the sense that they're in crypto at all. They are a crypto trading firm largely. However, they also have data centers, and they're leasing those to CoreWeave, which is the NVIDIA invested company. They also gave a loan. Basically, this big loan was given to MoonPay. You may have heard of their ads on, you know, some financial news outlets. MoonPay has been advertising. They're trying to be the next like Coinbase place to store your crypto. And yeah, that was related to the Trump meme coin. So that's a little bit more of a specious link, but I think the donation is telling. And then it's for what these guys actually do. So I talked about the crypto trading, and that's definitely how they sort of started. The Goldman Sachs former partner was at a hedge fund before that, running it, and then he moved into crypto. What's interesting is, as far as money, like they have 500 million of net income, okay, but because they measure trading volume, their actual revenue is in the like 20-30 billion range. So you have to ignore that. You know, it's kind of like seeing Amazon has multi-trillion of revenue, you know, when it's their gross merchandise value. That's different. This is significant though, over $17 billion of assets on their platform. And this is a sale. They executed 80,000 Bitcoin. So like an OTC transaction. So they definitely have the connections. They have the software to make a transaction like that. And they have the NVIDIA connection in a way by leasing their data center to CoreWeave. This is one of their campuses. I believe it's in Texas. So they get about a couple $100 million for that lease from CoreWeave. Maybe a little less, maybe a couple $100 million in total for all their leases. So it's a significant source of revenue. And we'll jump into more about, you know, what they've been up to. But this is the chart, okay? So this is the level we're talking about. We've got a sloping up moving average. We've got a peak here, and you got an opportunity to buy after earnings. Typically, I wouldn't think buying after a downtrend after earnings is a good idea. I mean, sort of an up and then down trend. If you look at other crypto-related names, Coinbase, just reporting earnings. So we'll see what happens here. But in general, I mean, MicroStrategy is a bad example because this company just has been going down the whole time. But this earnings reaction doesn't look like it's going to save the company, but it didn't go lower like Netflix is. So we'll be watching those, but also going to be watching, of course, Bitcoin. So this is a higher low for Bitcoin. Ethereum, not quite as pretty, but this has been good because Bitcoin looks pretty ugly, right? I mean, if it can hold this level, that's basically the breakout level from July. And of course, Galaxy Digital is going to be very related to crypto. So this is a breakout a little after Bitcoin did, but still, they are, of course, correlated. So a little more info about Galaxy, just to make sure you're buying something that makes sense. Besides the Trump sort of linkage that I mentioned with that donation, this is the big deal. I think it has to be this data center pivot, because if you look at a lot of Bitcoin mining companies like Mara or Riot, they are also trying to move into data center compute provision to basically serve OpenAI and Anthropic, which Google has a stake in, or Amazon has a stake in, I believe. I believe Amazon's beat on revenue was based on that Anthropic stake. So something to be aware of. It kind of makes this beat less significant because it's not actually related to Amazon's core business, but something that's very topical and current to focus on those Mag 7 earnings, specifically the ones that beat, which Amazon and Google and Apple did. Meta down on that tax recognition, $15 billion approximately. So this is Galaxy. That's the level. On a 5-year chart, there's about 32, maybe 35 is relevant. You can see 35 right here. It got up to 45 here, but it's definitely been, a minute. So we'll see if it can hold that level. It's obviously these people don't still own the stock most likely, but still it is psychologically pretty important. I mean, the volume here compared to back here is, what is this, like 100 times higher? I mean, this is 1 million and this is 50 million, whatever. Maybe I guess it's only 50 times. It's hard to see down here what the volume is, but it's a ton more volume. And the volume on earnings itself, this is sometimes relevant. If I look at a daily chart, just to get an idea of how worried you should be about buying a stock that had a sort of negative earnings reaction. If this candle had a really high volume, that'd be a little bit more concern. It'd be indicating a lot of selling pressure here. But really the buying was here on day one, on earnings day, with a lot of volume. So it didn't actually move. This was the 21st, so we can also look and see if the market played a role there. I mean, kind of a sideways day for the market, so nothing too concerning there. If the market had a big up day and this didn't move, well, that'd be bad, So not a ton of selling here, and then not a ton of selling here either. So basically what that means is that this may be less worrisome than it initially looks. You've got a downward channel, but the volume gives some hints as to how this 35 level could hold. So that's a lot about the chart. I think the chart is pretty important with this one, given it's kind of a new-ish company, and also how they're pivoting to data centers. Their past sort of price history might not exactly represent that business. So, I mean, there are things you could dive into here as to how their crypto business was doing, connections to other companies. But this is probably the most important one for that vertical, CoreWeave. So Coinbase is important. The price of Bitcoin is important, that these sort of hold up. but also core weave is going to be important if this can break out, because if this is their customer, you want this customer to be doing well. So that's the idea. That is Galaxy Digital, ticker symbol GLXY. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe. And if you want to work with me, head over to stockscommunity.com. You can join for $25, and I'll see you in the Discord on Monday. See you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.